So, the first thing I want to say is I apologize if I'm a little bit rusty because I haven't done one of these in a little while. Because, of course, this was the first Sens game since before the Olympic break. So, to that, what I will say is, first of all, I do apologize for not really uploading any videos during the Olympic break. I think I did just the one pack opening, but I really did enjoy watching the Olympics, and Canada lost in overtime to the US gold medal game. And I bring that up for a couple of reasons because, number one, I was, well, very annoyed because of the result of that game, obviously, as a Canadian. And it kind of happened again tonight in the Sens and Red Wings game. If you know, you know. So, also, I did do a watch party for the game tonight, so I do want to thank everybody who came out to that watch party. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, so again, for watch parties, I don't take notes. I just kind of just talk about stuff that happened. Again, I apologize if I'm a little rusty here. It's been a little bit. So, anyways, game 58 of the season was played on Thursday, February 26th against the Detroit Red Wings. It was a 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern start time. Now, this was the third meeting of the season between these two teams. So, the Sens are now 0-3 against the Red Wings because Detroit won 5-3 in Ottawa back on January 5th, and they also won 4-3 in overtime in Detroit on January 18th. So the last two games between these two teams have gone to overtime, which is crazy. So starting goaltenders were Linus Ullmark for the Sens and John Gibson for the Red Wings. He played pretty great tonight, of course. So Sens were 28, 22, and 7 coming into tonight, and the Red Wings, they've been playing well. 33, 19, and 6 coming in. They had been struggling a bit going into the Olympic break, but um, I I thought the Sens played pretty well tonight. They dictated the play for the most part, and going back to the whole Canada and US thing. So John Gibson, American goalie. Detroit Red Wings are an American team. The Ottawa Senators are a Canadian team. And Dylan Larkin scored the only two goals for the Red Wings. Larkin's also American. So it's just kind of weird. You know what I mean? Because, like, I'm not going to get into this too much, but I feel like Canada was the better team in the gold medal game. But then Hellebuck stood on his head. And it kind of felt like that happened again tonight. So it's like, what the heck? Just a weird thing that I noticed. But yeah, so as mentioned, this was the Sens' first game in 3 weeks. It's their first home game since January 31st, which is just crazy to think about, almost a month ago. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, I don't have any notes. I will just go through the stats like we always do, and yeah, we'll talk about the game. We'll talk about the game. Yep, you can definitely tell I'm rusty. My goodness. So, the Detroit Red Wings win by a score of 2-1 in overtime against the Ottawa Senators. The Red Wings are now 34, 19, and 6, and like I said, they've been playing pretty well overall this season. Again, they have been struggling going into the Olympic break, and I do feel like the Sens were the better team overall tonight, but what matters is the final score, right? So the Sens are now 28, 22, and 8. So we go through the stats here, and there's a couple things that stand out to me. So the shots were 27-20. It was a lot more lopsided early on. Detroit kind of started to even it up more as the game went along. Face-off percentage, once again, the Sens do dominate 60% compared to 40% for the Red Wings. The power play, both teams go 1 for 2, so that's kind of a wash there, I guess. Penalty minutes, 23-13, Sens having the most. The hits were apparently 30-18 for the Sens. This game did get pretty physical at times. There was the hit on Brady, of course, by Edmondson, which that caused a big thing there. But I'll talk about that in a second, actually. Block shots were 25 by the Sens, 21 by the Red Wings. Giveaways, this is kind of surprising. Sens had 15, Red Wings had 9. It feels like the Red Wings made way more giveaways tonight, but I guess not. Takeaways were 6-4. Now let me just double check because I know sometimes they like to change the stats later on, but yeah, apparently the Sens had more giveaways. It didn't feel like it though. I found Detroit was pretty sloppy overall, especially early in the game. But yeah, what can you do? I mean, right? It's just kind of the story of the season for the Sens. Like they deserve to win, but they don't win. And yeah, what can you do, right? So these two teams will meet again on March 24th. That'll be the fourth and final meeting of the season between these two teams. So yeah, again, like I said, I don't have any notes. I don't take notes when I do a watch party. So going through the scoring summary here, Brady Tkachuk does get it started on the power play with his 15th of the season from Sanderson and Stützle. I was wearing the Stützle jersey again tonight. So, and I should also add that, going back to the whole Canada-America thing, Tkachuk is American. So it's just a weird thing I noticed tonight. I just, But anyways, he does open the scoring 18:44 into the first period on the power play. Sens go up 1-0, and I'm feeling pretty good. They're playing good. So in the first period, they outshoot Detroit 13-4. So feeling pretty good, but again, don't want to get too excited because they're only up by one, and we've seen this team lose games that they probably shouldn't have lost, right? So this is nothing new to us. So rolling into the second period, it is Dylan Larkin scoring on the power play as well, his 27th of the season from Raymond and Seider, three more Olympians right there, at the 5:24 mark of the second period, and that would tie the game at 1. And I do feel like the Sens were the better team in the second period as well. The shots ended up being 9-7 in that second period for the Sens. But we're tied. So after two periods, the shots were 22-11 for the Sens, but we're tied, and that's what matters. So rolling into the third period, there was no scoring in the third period. The shots were 8-5 in favor of the Red Wings. The Sens did start to kind of sit back a little bit, get less zone time. It kind of looked like they were playing for overtime, which I am never a fan of. I know it's the style nowadays. I know teams want to get that point, but I don't like that. It kind of looked like both teams were playing for overtime, but more so the Sens in the third period. And then, of course, in overtime, it is Dylan Larkin, again, his second of the game, 28th of the season from Raymond, 150 into overtime, and that wins the game. So, overall, I'm feeling okay about this game. I thought the Sens played well. They do get a point out of this one, which is huge because of the standings and where they are and all that in the playoff race. So we will go through the three stars. First of all, obviously number one, John Gibson with a .963 save percentage. I don't agree with the stars of the game though. So it says the second star of the game is Tkachuk apparently with a goal, and then Larkin is the third star with 2 goals, including the overtime winner. Let me refresh that. I don't agree with that at all, but that's what the site says. Okay. I don't know how Tkachuk is ahead of Larkin, but anyways, going into the box score here, we'll go through the forward stats. So the only goal scorer was Tkachuk, and Stützle drew the assist there. And for plus minus, Pinto and Greg were -1. No forward was a plus. So penalty minutes, Tkachuk had 10. Dylan Cousins had 7. He got into a fight as well. And Greg had 4 penalty minutes as well. And for the shots, Batherson led the forwards in shots with 4. And Pinto and Greg had 3 blocks, which led the forwards. And Dylan Cousins with 7 hits, which led all the forwards. So it's a pretty good number there for Dylan Cousins. And going into the defense stats, Sanderson had the only point with the assist on the goal. And plus minus, Shabbat was -1, and that's all the report for that. Clevin took a minor penalty as well. And then Sanderson led the defense in shots with 3. Zub led in blocks with 3. I feel like Zub had a pretty good night tonight. I liked his game tonight. Clevin had the most hits with 5, and Allmark had a .900 save percentage. I thought he played good. I mean, you can't really blame him too much on the goals. Like the first one was 2-on-1. I mean, the overtime winner, you can't really blame them too much on those, but it's just the same old, right? I mean, what I will say, the Sens did get a break as well. There was a goal that got waved off by the Red Wings. It was offside by like a hair, so they got a break there. But just man, oh man, so many grade A chances tonight, and they just can't finish. But it's kind of the story of the season for the Sens, right? We're used to seeing this, so. Yeah, at the end of the day, I kind of feel okay about this. I was really curious to see how they would play coming out of the Olympic break, and I thought they played pretty well. And the stats would kind of indicate that as well. So, moving forward here, the next Sens game will be against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's always fun when they play the Leafs. So that's going to be on Saturday, February 28th, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Start Time. I will not be doing a watch party for this one, most likely. Speaking of watch parties, the next one that I do will most likely be on, I believe it's the 3rd. Let me check that real quick. I'm pretty sure it's March 3rd when they play the Oilers. Yes, that's the next one, the next date I'm targeting as far as watch parties go, so do look out for that. And of course, there will still be a review video out for the Leaf game on Saturday. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Close game, overtime loss for the Sens. Taking a look at the standings here. So the Sens are currently 7 points out of a playoff spot, so they need all the points they can get, right? So they're 64 points. They have to pass Columbus and Washington. It's very unlikely they get into a playoff spot, but maybe. I'm trying to be optimistic here, and that's not easy for me to do. So yeah, we'll see what happens. They do have a nice little run going. They were, I believe, 5-1 going into the Olympic break. So yeah, getting a point is huge. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens on Saturday. The Leafs are right behind them in the standings. They are 1 point behind them. They lost tonight to Florida, so we'll see what happens. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really not too upset about this one. They do get a point. It's a close game. Detroit's playing well, so I can't complain too much, right? So the Sens fall by a score of 2-1 in overtime to the Red Wings, and they will be looking to bounce back on Saturday in Toronto against the Maple Leafs. But I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you again to everybody who tuned in to the watch party tonight. It was a lot of fun. And yes, that's it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching again, and go Sens go.